I was once nearly incinerated alive. My grandpa's house is in a secluded village nestled deep in the mountains of Europe, a village curiously named Big Chimney. I always found the name odd, considering there weren't any large chimneys in sight, not even taller buildings. I asked many people about it, but the villagers kept mum about its origin, my grandpa included. The surrounding forests are lush, and during hunting season, the villagers would head into the woods to hunt or gather wild vegetables, preparing for winter. They told me the area was rich in resources and that I could go anywhere except for the forbidden Black Forest to the west. The forest lay on the shadowed side of the mountain, making it perennially dark. Grandpa said it was so vast that even locals could easily get lost, so they avoided it. This time, I visited during hunting season and wanted to show off my hunting skills. Living in a big city, I seldom got the chance to engage in such activities. Armed with Grandpa's shotgun, I wandered out of the village, and after a long search, I spotted a cunning little rabbit that dashed into the Black Forest. Grandpa and the locals had warned me repeatedly not to venture into the Black Forest. I thought if I just skirted the edge, I wouldn't face any danger. I couldn't bear the thought of returning empty-handed. But no sooner had I stepped into the Black Forest than I lost all sense of direction. I had no idea which way led out of the forest. Desperately trying to find a way out, I ran blindly, the thought of escaping consuming my mind. Ironically, this only led me deeper. By the time I realized, I was thoroughly lost. As I wandered, large, fluffy snowflakes began to fall, and a white fog arose from the forest. The black trees soon wore a white mantle, and the snow obscured everything further. I wandered the forest for an entire afternoon, and as darkness fell, the snow had blanketed the ground, turning it a ghostly gray, while the sky above remained pitch black, clouds obscuring the moon. The air was bone-chillingly cold, and my breath formed white clouds. Just as I was exhausted and my mind began to reel, I met an old man in a dusty yellow uniform, his skin dark and his face etched with hardships. "Hey, hi there, sir. I'm lost. Can you guide me out?" I asked eagerly. The old man didn't respond but simply turned and began walking, and I had no choice but to follow him. After a long walk, he led me to a large factory next to a quiet, eerie village with a strange burnt scent in the air. The old man took me to a security room. It seemed he was the factory guard and lived in this cramped space with just a bed and a stove. He poured me a cup of coffee from a kettle on the stove. He spoke with a heavy local accent, hard to understand, but it seemed he was asking where I was from. I told him I came from Big Chimney Village, hoping he could help me get back. But he just shook his head, saying he'd never heard of a nearby village called Big Chimney. Then, a truck rumbled outside, followed by the sound of its horn. The old man hurried out to open the factory gate. Peering out the security room window, I saw a black truck driven by several men in black uniforms harshly tossing several bodies off the truck. I was terrified, goosebumps covering my skin, as I realized this factory was a crematorium for bodies. My instincts screamed that these people were no good. I tried to flee the horror, opening the security room door, but this alerted the men who immediately subdued me and placed me in a coffin used for cremating bodies. They intended to burn me alive. I felt the coffin being lifted, slowly moved, then placed onto the incinerator. Soon, I was pushed into the furnace, the surrounding heat becoming unbearable as smoke began to fill my throat, my consciousness blurring. Then everything went dark. When I awoke, I was in my grandpa's bed. He told me I had disappeared 3 days ago after going hunting, and despite many searching, no trace of me was found. They thought I had vanished for good, but last night, someone found me collapsed by the village road, seemingly having dragged myself back in a dazed state. I had only been gone a day, but they said it was 3. Something felt off, so I hurriedly shared my harrowing experience with Grandpa, who was shocked. Big Chimney Village was named for its once-existent crematorium. During World War II, the village was occupied by Nazi forces who built a crematorium there to burn bodies, even the living. After the Nazis were defeated, the terrifying crematorium was abandoned, and because the prominent chimney stood until my grandpa's childhood, locals named the place Big Chimney Village. They demolished the crematorium buildings later. Due to the dark history, locals prefer not to speak of why the village was named Big Chimney. The factory was old, with a smoking chimney continuously spewing gray ash that mingled with the falling snow, coating me. That means the crematorium operated over 80 years ago. But last night, I vividly saw and experienced everything as though back in time. The uniforms, the old truck, the style of the crematorium, none belong to our era. Moreover, it's only late autumn here, and it hasn't snowed these past days. Thinking about this unsettles me. Grandpa suggested my ordeal might have been a hallucination due to exhaustion from being lost. That I managed to walk out of the Black Forest was a miracle in itself. I nodded to reassure him, but deep down, I didn't believe it was just a hallucination. Hallucinations require some basis in cognition and memory, and I previously knew nothing about the origin of Big Chimney Village's name. I think I might have stumbled into a time rift in the Black Forest, unwittingly traveling back to when the crematorium was operational, which is now Big Chimney Village. When the rift closed, I mysteriously appeared back in the village. Another possibility is that I encountered the ghosts of the past, replaying their history. One crucial piece of evidence that my experiences were not mere hallucinations is the burn marks on my body, likely from being trapped in the coffin and incinerated.